You're tuned to Bogwatch here at Merefest, the festival on the banks of the Ellesmere. I'm John King.
I'm Octavia Hopwood.
And we're joined now by local author Simon Fletcher.
Yep. Now, Simon, you were going to read an extract or a poem for us, so take it away.
Okay. This is about the necessary business of taking note for writers. A week of desiccating sun. The chalk blue flax is now stick dry. Mallards float in complete families. A solitary heron inspects the sedge. And every kind of flowering thing must push out from the waterside. Blonde meadow sweet and orange balsam, water mints and willow herbs. The writers, in a state of fear, are using every sense they have to fix the ambling film of stuff that's passing by through window frames. They process shapes and colours light and try to find the perfect words, but know they have to go quite soon, back to the senseless, finite world. So notebooks, laptops are soon filled with hopes of catching one true frame, a speaking picture that speaks to all and tells us what the day was like and how much thought and tea was taken. The consciously unconscious task of honing, shaping, nailing down, and then the graft of work begins.
Wow, painted a lovely picture there with your work. So what inspired you to write a poem like that?
Well, I was on the workshop that we did on the Llangollen Canal between Clinial Wharf and Ellesmere. It was last month, and the workshop leader was Jeff Phelps. I was there as, Johnny Do-It-All, really. I was running about making cups of tea and coffee and making sure people didn't fall over the side of the boat into the canal, and just generally being helpful. And so I had the opportunity to actually watch the writers writing. So I was watching them, watching the thing unfold through the windows of the Lad, which is the name of the boat. And of course these windows are sort of framed rather like you get with film. So they're watching frame by frame. It's that kind of idea. So I was watching them, watching the world pass by, and realising that they're fighting like mad to get stuff down, because a lot of them are, they've got families, they've got busy lives, they've got to get back to that fairly soon. The workshop only lasts 2 hours. They've got half a day off from the real struggle.
Do you ever? Because essentially you're observing the people doing the thing that you do.
Yes.
So do you ever sort of try and take apart the process, or does that destroy it?
No, and I think, when you're young, when you're a young writer, you just do it. When you've been writing for 40 years, as I have, and getting published for 40 years, you do it, but in a much more conscious way. It's when you sit down to write, I find, anyway these days, and I think experienced writers will agree with this, you are aware that you're writing for somebody. You have an audience in mind. There's somebody out there who hopefully will read this stuff one day. So it may be a magazine editor, it may be the general reader, it may be a particular friend or a family member. But I think that focuses the mind, and it homes it down. It makes it more personal in a way.
So the canal that you're on, that runs right the way through to the Meres&Mosses landscape. That's as well, doesn't it?
Absolutely.
So how do you think the landscape sort of influences your work?
Landscape always influences writers. It doesn't matter whether you live in the Potteries. Arnold Bennett wrote half a dozen novels about Stoke-on-Trent. Whether you live in deepest, Shropshire, like a Mary Webb, or whether, like Simon Fletcher, you live near Oswestry and every day see the beautiful landscape in North Shropshire. And I go walking in the hills, the Oswestry Hills, particularly around Llanymynech, and I just love, the quarries there, the rocks, the orchids, and it kind of seeps into you. Whether you're up or down or around the houses or happy, whether you're doing well or badly, it seeps into you. You can't help it. if you are a sensitive writer, I think that's absolutely.
Simon, thanks very much indeed.